Tony Gailey.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. My name's Tony Gailey, and I'm a psychologist by profession. Today I'd like to talk to you about motivation. More to the point, how can you get and stay motivated over long periods of time? Let's face it, any of you who have been in the business for any more than just a couple of weeks have probably already discovered that motivation just doesn't last very long. You can go to a conference like this and hear some outstanding speakers. You become excited and motivated, pumped up and enthused. How long does that feeling really last? Unfortunately, not very long. Most people lose their motivation within 2 to 3 days, and you go back a week later, and they've all drifted back to their old levels of production. And yet, every once in a while, you run into someone in this business that seems to be motivated all the time. And I believe you know the kind of person I'm talking about. They have a great natural energy, always have a smile on their face. They seem to genuinely enjoy what they're doing. They're highly motivated people. I don't think that happens by accident. I'm in a very interesting position. You folks would have no way of knowing this, but last year I gave over 200 presentations at conferences and conventions just like this. Had the opportunity of speaking for the second time at the $1 Million Roundtable, spoke at what we call the National Life Underwriters Convention, the LIMRA Convention. I get a lot of exposure in the financial services industry, and I get to meet a lot of very interesting people. I was pleasantly surprised to find out at your bookstore that I met over half of the people personally that actually have their books out there on that table. The point is this. A couple of years ago, I got myself in an interesting habit. When I find and meet very successful people, highly motivated, top achievers, I've gotten in the habit of asking them, what do you do to get and stay motivated? You seem to be doing pretty well in the business, you're a high achiever, what are you doing to motivate yourselves? And I've got to tell you, nearly all of these high achievers actually will answer that question. Go check it out yourself. Find people that are doing very well, making a lot of money, very successful. Ask them what they do to motivate themselves, and I think you'll find the same thing I found. They'll answer the question. A lot of people stop for a second and they say, well, it's interesting, no one's ever asked me that before, but since you asked me, this is what I do. I do this every day, and it just sets me off in a positive direction and it keeps me going. They're all programming themselves to be a success. I don't think you're going to wake up one morning and have lightning strike you and all of a sudden be motivated. It's something that needs to be developed over a reasonable period of time. And that is what high achievers do, every single one of them. It is not an accidental process. Some people listen to motivational tapes. Some people write their goals down. Some people listen and read affirmations to themselves on a regular basis. They're all doing something. But if you distill it down, if you boil it all down, this is what I believe they're doing. I believe they're all hypnotizing themselves. I believe they are hypnotizing themselves. Of course, they don't call it hypnosis. They call it their quiet time, their visualization process. I've heard it called autogenic training. I've heard it called 100 different things. But if you listen to high achievers, they're all pretty much telling you what they do. You've heard the story, these rags to riches success stories. I started in this business 10 years ago, had never sold a thing in my life. Today I'm the #1 producer in the office. But when I first started, didn't have much of a sales education, didn't have that much going for me. You know what I had? They say I had a dream, had a vision, could see myself being a success in this business. I recall I was driving around a beat-up old car, that's all I could afford, but I always dreamed of driving a top-of-the-line Mercedes. So I used to cut out pictures of Mercedes, tape them on the dashboard of the car. See the vehicle out there in the parking lot? Just the way I pictured it in my mind. Oh, I remember my spouse and I, we used to fantasize about what kind of home we were going to purchase once I got very successful, once we got very successful. Well, you see the big, beautiful house out there? I mean, it's just the way we built it in our minds. That, believe it or not, is an example of self-hypnosis. And I believe you all do it to a certain degree. It's just, are you doing it successfully or not? Don't let the word scare you. I happen to believe the average person in this room is already spending about 70% of their waking day in a trance anyhow. I'm not kidding, by the way. I'm just going to show you how to put it to good use. People laugh when I say that, but it's really quite true. Have you ever driven home at the end of the day, you pull into your driveway and you seriously have to sit there and ask yourself, did I stop at that stop sign? Was that light red when I went through it? Well, where were you then? Have you ever walked in your house and seen a member of your family tranced out in front of a TV program or the computer screen? You call them for dinner, they don't even hear you call their name? Another example of a trance. I'll give you another one. You ever daydreamed? More to the point, have you ever seen someone daydreaming? You ever been in your office and you look over and one of your coworkers is doing this number? Where they're just blank? You can tell they're not seeing what they're looking at, they're not hearing what's going on around them. Wake up and observe people and you'll recognize that most people actually spend most of their lives thinking about what they should have done, could have done, might have done, or what they think they're going to do, what they hope they're going to do, very little time paying attention to what they are actually doing. You spend a lot of time in a trance. And I believe high achievers have learned to master that state of mind. Because some interesting things happen to you when you go into that trance-like state. One thing that's very interesting is that you tend to become very suggestible, very malleable. Have you ever seen a number of people tranced out in front of a TV set? One person in the room yawns, what happens? Everybody begins to yawn. The suggestion to yawn goes right into that person's mind, and they're doing it without analyzing it or criticizing it. Television advertisers spend billions of dollars every year deliberately trying to put you into a trance. And they do it with colorful pictures, sexy women, great-looking guys, catchy tunes, anything that fixates your attention long enough to bury a subconscious message. Another interesting thing that happens when you're into a trance is that you tend to become very robot-like, very automatic with respect to your behavior. Highway hypnosis is an example of that. At the end of the day, you go out into the parking lot, you get into the car, you locate your keys, you start the ignition, and sometimes you just tell your mind, home. And then you go away for a while. Pretty soon, one party is driving the automobile, and the other party is a million miles away. That's an example of automatic behavior. Your unconscious mind is very programmable. It will do exactly what you program it to do. If you program it to drive and then you go somewhere else, it will keep driving until you snap out of your trance. Overeaters experience the same phenomena. They sit themselves down in front of a football game or a baseball game, and they go get a bag of potato chips, and they tell their unconscious mind to eat. And then they go away for a while. Pretty soon, one part of them is eating, the other part is a million miles away. Well, they'll keep eating until they snap out of that trance. Unfortunately, what snaps them out of their trance? They reach down, the bag is empty, and then they have that magic moment, can't believe I just ate a whole bag of chips. Of course, this has always fascinated me. Had you taken the chips, poured them into a bowl, and handed them to the person and said, here, eat the entire bowl, they'd never be able to do it if they were conscious of what they were doing. They'd be stuffed halfway through. But when one part doesn't pay attention to the other part, you really will do whatever you're programmed to do. Here's why I'm mentioning that. In the profession that you folks are in, being financial advisors, I believe most of you are programmed to make a certain income in this business. I believe you have already made up your minds how much money you're going to make this year, and it has very little to do with your clients. Let me give you another example. Not too long ago, I was speaking at a convention, financial services industry. A sales manager came up to me and he said, see that person sitting out there in the 5th row, that young man? I recruited him in the business 3 years ago. He said, he is the best natural salesperson I've ever met. I said, what do you mean? Well, he's just got it all. He's got a natural energy. He loves this business. He's got charisma. People love to be around him. Great sales knowledge, great product knowledge. Probably the best natural salesperson I've ever met. And I made the comment, well, he's got to be making a lot of money, right? And he said, well, that's the problem. Last year, he made about $40,000. I said, well, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. And he said, well, it's not. He said, this year, he's also on track for making $40,000. I said, what's the problem? He said, I'll tell you. He's young. He's just getting started. He thinks $40,000 is a lot. And he's hanging out with other average salespeople that are making about $40,000. Now, 2 or 3 times this year, I've sat down and encouraged him to raise the bar. I said, hey, with your skills, your abilities, you could double, even triple that income if you really wanted to, but he's focused on making 40. What happens to a person who's focused on making 40? Let's say they have a great first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, they've already made 20, but their focus is 40. What will they do for the next 3 quarters? They coast, they goof off. What do they end up with at the end of the year? 40. You know, the reverse is also true. Let's say they have a terrible first 3 quarters. Everything goes wrong, everything falls apart. 3 quarters go by, they've only made 20. But they're focused on making 40. What do they do in the last quarter? They'll be working 80-hour weeks, prospecting like crazy, pulling sales out of thin air. Yes, I believe you have already made up your minds how well you're going to do this year. And I believe that's what top achievers do. They constantly raise that bar. they hypnotize themselves. Well, I'm going to demonstrate that for you in a few moments. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, as plain as can be. In fact, I'm going to bring a number of you up out of the audience and literally hypnotize you. Probably wondering what these chairs are doing over here. I am going to bring a number of you up out of the audience and hypnotize you to demonstrate this as clear as it can be. But before I do that, I have a couple of promises to make. Here's the first promise I'd like to make to you. This is not coercion. Every once in a while, I find a good subject in the audience, invite them to join me up on stage. For whatever reason they are afraid to, please don't come up unless you want to. I don't want anybody up here unless they want to be. But here's promise number 2. If I do invite you to join me up on stage, I promise you will not be embarrassed or harassed in any way. What I'll try to do this morning is to demonstrate to you how visualization affects your business performance. Change the image in your mind, you change your business performance. If that young person could focus on making 80,000 instead of 40, are they going to be generating more sales, producing more activity, making more prospecting calls, generating more referrals? Of course they are. You can do the same thing to yourself. You can raise that bar with visualization. Do the same thing that top achievers do. But I repeat, no one will be embarrassed or harassed here this morning. This is not going to be dancing with broomsticks or quacking like ducks. That happened in one of my presentations, but I promise I will not let it happen this morning. My third promise to you, if you volunteer, if I bring you up here, it will probably be one of the most relaxing experiences you've ever had. Time and again, after I hypnotize people, they come up to me and they just comment on how good they feel. One person not too long ago came up to me and he said, you know, I am so relaxed, haven't been this relaxed in years. He said, this is better than drugs. You're going to feel great afterwards, and here's my fourth promise. Anyone who I bring up front today and volunteers for this presentation, at the end of the talk, I'm going to give you one of my self-hypnosis tapes. That tape will teach you how to hypnotize yourselves at home. I've always believed anyone who is kind enough to volunteer for these presentations should benefit from the experience. So I'm going to give you one of my tapes that will teach you how to do this to yourselves at home. You may or may not have heard, but hypnosis and visualization techniques are being used extensively to help people stop smoking, lose weight, pain control, painless childbirth, nail biting, all kinds of applications. What we are going to talk this morning, however, is how can you use these techniques to improve your business performance, to change that mental picture in the back of your mind. But before we do that, I need to find some good hypnotic subjects. Obviously, I'm going to be going for the better than average hypnotic subjects, the tail end of the continuum. And in order to find those good subjects, I'm going to conduct 2 very simple visualization tests, little tests of your imagination. These tests will show me and you who the really good subjects in this group are. The first of those tests is really quite simple. It's called the Comstock test. Would you all take a moment, please, and uncross your feet and legs? Place your feet flat on the floor. Excellent. I'm going to ask you now to make 2 fists. Bring your hands together so that your thumbs and your knuckles are touching. Rest your arms so they're not dangling in an awkward or an uncomfortable position, just like that. Beautiful. And then I'll invite you to extend both of your index fingers so that they look like 2 little goalposts. Perfect, just like that. I'm going to ask you now to pick a spot on your right thumbnail and just look at the spot. Pick any spot you like, but focus your attention on that spot on your right thumbnail. Keep your eyes on it. Please do not take your eyes off it until I ask you to. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath. Breathe in deeply. And then exhale completely. Let's do that again. Breathe in deeply. Notice how good it feels when you take a deep breath, and then exhale completely. One more time now. Breathe in deeply. That's beautiful. And as you exhale, close your eyes down tight. Close your eyes down tight, but keep breathing slow and deep, slowly and deeply. Slow, deep breathing is the key here. And as you breathe slowly and deeply, use your imaginations. I'm going to ask you to imagine that the tips of your index fingers are magnetized. Imagine that the tips of your index fingers are powerful magnets. Magnets that are being drawn closer and closer and closer and closer together. A magnetic attraction that is growing stronger and stronger and stronger with each passing second. Stronger and stronger, closer and closer until soon they actually touch. I'm just going to slowly count back from 3 to 1. And by the time I reach the number 1, the tips of your index fingers will actually be touching. Feel this now. 3. Your fingertips want to touch. They need to touch. They are pulling and tugging, tugging and pulling. 2, like magnets, irresistibly drawing and pulling and tugging closer and closer, tighter and tighter. 3, 2, and 1. All the way together now. Excellent. would you all look up here for just a moment? Could I see by a show of hands? How many of you folks got your fingertips to come all the way together? I'd expect about 60% of you to raise your hand. Oh, more than 60%. Ma'am, where are you? For the record, I need to explain to you, these are your thumbs and these are your index fingers. Just for future reference. If you bear with me for just a moment, let me explain what just happened. How many of you all noticed when your fingertips came together, it was not a smooth motion. Instead, they felt as if they were being jerked and tugged together. Did you feel that? It's called a vesiculated motion. Hypnotists always look for vesiculated motions. Every once in a while, there's someone in the audience who really wants to be hypnotized. And they do this number on me. They go, wow, that's amazing. That's not what I'm looking for. You know, take me. No, that's not at all what I'm looking for. Your fingertips came together because of your imagination. And what we're going to do next, the next little test I'll show you is called the arm rising and falling test. In my opinion, this next test is by far the best predictor as to who will be the really good subjects in the group. So I'm going to use this test to find my volunteers. In other words, by the time we finish this next test, a number of you will have one of your arms pointed literally straight up into the air. I'm going to scan the audience looking for good subjects. If I recognize that you are a good visualizer, I'm going to leave the stage, I'm going to come up to you and place my hand on your shoulders and say a few words to you. If I do that, I assure you I'm not getting weird or fresh or strange or anything. I'm just picking you out as good subjects. I will probably identify about 10 of you throughout the audience and invite 7 or 8 of you to join me up on stage. One last comment before we begin. I'm going to play some music in the background while we do this. There is nothing inherently hypnotic about this music. The only reason I play the music is to keep distractions at a minimum. It is called the arm rising and falling test. Most people really enjoy this because it is very relaxing. So when you're ready, would you please uncross your feet and legs, place your feet flat on the floor. Rest your backs comfortably against the backs of those chairs. All you need to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy yourselves. Use your imaginations. Would you extend both of your arms straight out in front of you so that the palms of your hands are facing each other and your thumbs are pointed to the ceiling? Would you next take your left hand, that's the one connected to the left side of the body, ma'am. Left hand, palm to the ceiling. Right thumb to the ceiling. Perfect. Now I'm going to ask you to go back and look at that spot on your right thumbnail that you were looking at before. Keep your eyes on that spot. Do not take your eyes off it. Perfect. Keep focusing. You're doing great. With your eyes on that spot, take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply. Beautiful. And then exhale. Completely. Again, breathe in deeply. Notice how good that feels. And then exhale. Completely. Again, breathe in deeply. Nice deep breath. Excellent. As you exhale, close your eyes down tight. Close your eyes down tight, but keep breathing slowly and deeply. Slowly and deeply. Slow, deep breathing is the key here. And as you breathe nice and deep and slow, nice and slow and deep, use your imaginations. I'm going to ask you to imagine that there's a thick, heavy book out there in the palm of your left hand. Imagine there's a thick book out there in the palm of your left hand. A thick, heavy book. And as you imagine this book, soon you will notice that your left arm and your left hand is beginning to feel heavier and heavier and heavier. You will feel the weight of that book pressing and pushing down, 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 down on your arm and your hand, and soon your left arm, your left hand will be pushed all the way down to your lap. Your left arm now, very, very heavy. Feel that weight, and it will continue growing heavier and heavier. And soon as your left arm goes heavier and heavier, you'll notice that your right arm is beginning to feel lighter and lighter and lighter. Use your imaginations. Imagine there's a string tied around your right wrist. A string that is connected to a giant balloon filled with helium gas. As your left arm continues getting heavier, your right arm is being gently drawn higher and higher into the air. You feel your arm lifting and floating and rising, and soon your right arm will be pointed straight up into the air like a balloon filled with helium gas. I'm just going to slowly count back from 3 to 1. With each number I count, your right arm will rise higher and higher. You will feel it lifting and floating, and by the time I reach the number 1, your right arm will be pointed straight up into the air. Feel this now. Straight up into the air. By the time I reach the number 1, 3. You feel your arm floating and lifting and rising, higher and higher, lighter and lighter. Just like a balloon floating up, up, up into the air. Lighter and lighter, higher and higher, lifting and rising, rising and lifting. Just like a balloon filled with helium gas. Getting lighter and lighter, lifting and rising up into the air. Just like a balloon, rising, rising up into the air. Just like a balloon, 2, up, up, higher and higher, lighter and lighter, lifting. Take a deep breath. Sleep deeper, sleep. Excellent. You are concentrating perfectly now. You are concentrating perfectly. Just like a balloon. Just like a balloon filled with helium gas. Just like a balloon. Excellent. You are concentrating perfectly. 3, 2, straight up into the air now. And 1. Sleep. Excellent. Just like a balloon. Excellent. Excellent. Now in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and I'm going to ask all of the folks whose shoulders I touched to remain with your eyes closed and your bodies relaxed until I ask you to awaken. Everyone else, however, eyes wide open at the count of 3 unless I touched your shoulders. 1, 2, and 3. Would the rest of you open your eyes, please? Excellent. Interesting sensation, is it not? I'm sorry that took so long. I was trying to wander throughout the audience getting people at different parts of the group. At the count of 3, I'm going to ask everyone whose shoulder I touched to open their eyes at the count of 3. And if you're willing, I'm going to ask you to step up on stage here and join me to do this demonstration at the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Eyes wide open. And if you join me up on stage, those of you who are willing to come forward, would you like to come up, ma'am? Come and join us. I'd love to have you. Ma'am? Yes, give these folks a round of applause. If you're willing to join me up on stage, we'd love to have you. Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful. Okay. Outstanding. You can come on either side. And if I could have the chairs right here, beautiful. Here we go. How you doing, ma'am? If you have a seat right there. Sir, if you wouldn't mind sitting right there. I'm going to sit the young lady right here, if you don't mind. And you, sir, right there. And then I'm going to sit a young lady right there. And I'm going to sit you right there, if you don't mind. I'm going to kind of stagger them. Have a couple spare chairs here, just in case. Excuse me, ma'am, you want to join us over here? I'm going to try to go boy, girl, so to speak. And if you folks want to sit down at the end here, we will proceed. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you for coming up. You guys look to be excellent hypnotic subjects. Let me explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Obviously, I was scanning the audience looking for good visualizers. Now, by my definition, a good visualizer is someone that is able to take a picture and transmit the picture into actions quickly and easily. If you invite a good visualizer to imagine their arm is connected to a balloon, the arm floats straight up in the air just like there's a balloon out there. Take that picture, transmit it into action. Watch what happens when you ask a good visualizer to begin visualizing other things. Have you ever been hypnotized? Never. Never. Do you think you're hypnotized? Never. I love that. Do you think you're hypnotized right now, ma'am?
No.
No? You're wide awake, right?
Yeah.
Do you know this man you're sitting next to?
No.
Say hello to him. Your name, sir, is?
Patrick.
Patrick. Say hello to?
Caroline.
Shake his hand, because you're about to know this guy a whole lot better. There we go. If you put your arm up there for just a second, Patrick. And Caroline, see that spotlight up there? See that?
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on that spotlight. Please do not take your eyes off until I ask you to. Take a deep breath. Remember how relaxed you were a second ago? Sleep. Wait a deep 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Limp, loose, relaxed, and on deep sleep. Deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper until I ask you to awaken. Do you know this lady over here? Sir? Do you know her? Say hello.
Hello.
Your name, ma'am, is?
Moira.
Say again.
Moira.
Moira, say hello to Patrick. Patrick, if you lift your arm up there. Moira, would you pick a look, any spotlight you like in the room? Take a look at it. Take a deep breath, would you, ma'am? Beautiful. Sleep. Way that deep. All in. Sleep. Loose, limp, relax. Come on. Deep sleep. Deep sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep asleep. Deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper until I ask you to awaken. Now, Patrick, have you ever been hypnotized?
No.
Do you think you're hypnotized right now?
No.
You're wide awake, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely cannot be hypnotized?
No.
Watch this. Follow the microphone with your eyes. Please do not take your eyes off until I ask you to. Beautiful. Take a deep breath for me, would you, Patrick? Beautiful. Sleep. Way that deep. Limp, loose, relax, and deeper and deeper. Loose and limp. Relaxed and wound, Patrick. Deeper and deeper. All the way down. Deeper and deeper until I ask you to awaken. How are you folks doing over here? Everybody okay? Comfortable? Relaxed? Jeff, would you raise your arms for me for a second? Ma'am, your name is?
Lorna.
Lorna. Have you ever been hypnotized, Lorna? Oh, you're going to love this. Watch me. Take a deep breath. Sleep. Wait. How you doing, sir? Doing okay?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. Sleep. Wait, honey. All the way down. Limp, loose, relax. All the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Limp and loose. Limp and loose. Limp and loose. Sleep. Wait and deep. Relax and wound. All the way down. All the way down. Limp and loose. Relaxed and wound. Deep asleep. Pick any spot you like, sir. One of those spotlights. Take a deep breath. Ever been hypnotized before? All the way down. Limp and loose. Limp and loose. Limp and loose, limp and loose, limp and loose, going deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. How you guys making out anyhow? You okay? All right, here we go. Pick a spot to look at. Just take a nice deep breath. Your first name, sir, is?
BJ.
Take a deep breath, BJ. Beautiful. Now sleep. All that. Let go. All that. Limp, loose, relaxed, and wound. And how are you?
Very well.
Ever been hypnotized before, Jeremy? Pick any spot you like and just look at it. I want you all to take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply. Listen very carefully. As I count back from 5 to 1, I want you to imagine that your bodies are becoming as limp, as loose, as relaxed as a handful of loose rubber bands. Imagine that, as limp and as loose and as relaxed as a handful of loose rubber bands tossed into the chair. 5, your legs going limp, the tension draining out of your body. Feel the tension draining. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to sleep. 4, the muscles in your stomach and back now, loosening, relaxing, unwinding, going deeper and deeper. 3, muscles in your arms and hands, limp, limp, limp and relax, limp and loose and relax, deeper and deeper to sleep. 4, 3, 2, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper, the muscles in your face and jaws, forehead and temple, head and scalp, deeper and deeper to sleep. 3, 2, and 1, sleep all the way down. Keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper with each and every breath you take until I ask you to awaken. Always deeper until I ask you to awaken. Always deeper. Notice how good it feels just to let go, just to relax, just to let go and sleep. All the way down. Deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper, always deeper until I ask you to awaken. Obviously, excellent visualizers. Ask a good visualizer to imagine a balloon connected to their arm and the arm starts rising. Look what happens when you ask a good visualizer to visualize their bodies as relaxed as a handful of rubber bands. First thing you have to admit, these folks are pretty darn relaxed. I mean, there's absolutely zero tension in the body. People that visualize and relax become totally relaxed. Absolute zero tension in the body. I admit that I am biased. I believe you all should be visualizing your goals clearly and vividly for just a few minutes each day. I believe that's what top achievers do. There are all kinds of benefits to doing that. but isn't this a very practical benefit? Wouldn't it be nice to get yourselves this relaxed for just a couple of minutes each day? Wouldn't it feel good just to let all the tension drain out of your body and let yourselves become just totally and completely relaxed? Got to tell you, I've been doing this for about 20 years. I've gotten a number of emails, cards, letters from people I've taught hypnosis to, and they say, I'm sleeping better, my concentration is improved, my business production numbers are rising, I feel better than I felt in years. This is a great benefit in and of itself, but there's more to it than that. Ask a good visualizer to visualize being relaxed, they get extremely relaxed. What's the opposite to relaxation? Stress or tension. Does it make sense if we change the picture, we'll change the performance? Isn't that what I was saying about the salesperson? If they could visualize themselves making 80 instead of 40, their performance numbers are going to rise? Let's change the picture, see what happens. So I extend your arm, I want you to use your imagination. Imagine that arm is becoming stiff and rigid, like a steel bar. Stiff and rigid, like a bar of steel. As I extend the arm, stiff and rigid, like a steel bar. As I extend your arm, imagine it's getting stiff and rigid. Stiff and rigid. As I extend the arm, it's growing rigid and stiff, just like a bar of steel welded into your shoulder. Stiff and rigid. Rigid and stiff, like a steel bar. Stiff and rigid, like a bar of steel that has been welded into your shoulders. Stiff and rigid. Rigid and stiff, like a steel bar. Rigid and stiff, stiff and rigid. Concentrate. Stiff and rigid, rigid and stiff. As I count back from 3 to 1 now, I want you to imagine that arm's as rigid and as stiff as a bar of steel. As stiff and as rigid as a steel bar that has been welded into your shoulders. Stiff and rigid, rigid and stiff, just like a steel bar. So rigid and stiff, you'll discover you cannot lower that arm. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, that arm simply will not go down until I clap my hands. 3, the arm is stiff and rigid, rigid and stiff. 2, it's like a steel bar, like a bar of steel has been welded into your shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. You can try to lower that arm now, but it will not go down. The harder you try, the more rigid it becomes. The harder you try, the more stiff it becomes. Go ahead and try, but it will not go down until I clap my hands. You are not trying hard enough. I want you to feel it's important to lower that arm. I want you to really, sincerely try to lower that arm. You'll discover it simply will not go down until I clap my hands. It's like a bar of steel. Notice even as I press on the arm, it's rigid and stiff and stiff and rigid and rigid and stiff and rigid, just like a steel bar, just like a bar of steel. Brendan, would you come on up here for just a moment, please, if you don't mind? Would you help me up on stage? I'm going to ask a volunteer to come up here just to report to you folks what this feels like, because these people, you could sit out on these arms. I mean, it's like an amazing degree of strength that they're exhibiting. If you'd come and face the group, Mr. Power. Obviously, we'll start with a guy, because I want you just to report to the group what that feels like. Go ahead, you can press down, give it a good shot. Now, let's pick on a woman, because we know that women have less upper body strength, and they are supposedly weaker than men. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Well, you go up and down the line here, and you see if you can find me a woman that's weaker than any of these guys, because they are exhibiting exactly the same degree. Wouldn't you agree? Isn't that amazing? Try to make your arm that stiff and rigid. Try to imitate what you see them doing. See something he's doing that they're not? See him grit his teeth, make a big fist, set both of his feet, kind of get his whole body involved? Let me demonstrate. It's not even close. Take as long as you need to make your arm stiff, because I'm going to press down on yours the way you press down on theirs. Are you ready? Except I'm going to use 2 fingers. Done. Come on, try it again. Stiff as rigid as you can, sir. Are you really doing it? Ready? Now, compare that to that. Is that remarkable or what? Thanks for coming up here, Brendan. I appreciate it. Thank you. Most people think this is a setup or an act until they actually come up here and press down on the arm and realize, I mean, you could sit on these arms, they simply will not bend. It's an amazing degree of strength. And the reason they're able to do it is because in their mind, they are seeing their arm as a steel bar, so it's acting like a steel bar. Here's the point. Wouldn't it be nice if you could get yourself this focused on your business goals? Wouldn't it be nice if you could eliminate distractions, eliminate pain, and just stay focused on the goals you set for yourself? This, once again, is what I believe top achievers do. They focus on a goal, they visualize the outcome, and that's the important part, the visualization. Not the pain, not the obstacles, not the problems, the end result. They can see it in their minds. In a moment, when I clap my hands, your arms will drop back down to your lap. Take a deep breath. You will go even deeper. 3, 2, 1, sleep. Limp, sleep, way down deep. Limp, loose, relax, and wound deeper, deeper, all the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Would you agree that emotion plays a big part in your success or failure in this business? If you like what you're doing, if you are confident, if you enjoy the profession, you're probably going to do a whole lot better than someone that has fear of rejection or is angry or confused. Your emotions affect your performance. Visualization is another thing top achievers use to tame and to control their emotional states. Their fears of rejection, for example. Let me demonstrate that. Take a nice deep breath, because in a moment I'm going to count slowly backwards from 5 to 1. As I count backwards, I want you all to use your incredible imaginations and imagine that you have simply heard the funniest joke in the whole wide world. You've heard the funniest joke in the whole wide world. Absolutely the funniest thing you ever heard in your life. And guess what? This joke's going to get funnier and funnier and funnier. And you're going to begin laughing harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And by the time I reach number 1, you're going to be laughing so hard, having such a good time. And the harder you laugh, the better you will feel. The harder you laugh, the funnier this joke will get. By the time I reach number 1, outrageously, hilariously laughing. Here we go. 5. It is the funniest joke in the whole wide world. Already you can tell this thing's so funny. It just keeps getting funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier. The harder you laugh, the funnier it feels. The harder you laugh, the better it feels. It's getting funny. 4. Oh my goodness, this is without a doubt the funniest joke in the entire whole world. You've never heard anything so funny in your life. 3. It's getting funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier. It just keeps getting funnier, hilariously, outrageously funny. 3. 2. The funniest joke in the whole wide world. The whole wide world. It's the funniest thing you have ever heard in your life. It's so funny. It just keeps getting funnier and funnier and funnier. Here comes the punchline. 1. Oh my goodness, you just heard the funniest joke in the whole wide world. It keeps getting funnier and 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 funnier. When I stamp my foot, it's going to get 10 times funnier, 10 times funnier. Oh, there it is. 10 times funnier. Absolutely the funniest thing you ever heard in your life. 10 times, 100 times, 100 times funnier. Absolutely the funniest joke in the whole wide world. 100 times, outrageously, hilariously. It just keeps getting funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier. Now sleep. Deep sleep, deep sleep. There you go. Amazing, isn't it? Sleep way better. Deep sleep, deep sleep. Emotional control. Hey, could you laugh that hard if I were to count back from 5 to 1? That's an example of controlling one's emotion, turning it on like that. In and of itself, fascinating. But I'll tell you what amazes me even more. None of those folks had any idea when I was going to clap my hands. Did you see them all turn it off? Shut it down instantaneously. You'd have trouble training some very good actors to control their emotions like that. Once again, the point. I believe you can control some of the emotions that you're currently battling, like fear of rejection, like call reluctance, like fear of asking for referrals. Mentally rehearse them. Use your ability to visualize. You can control and attenuate some of those negative emotions. That's what I believe top achievers do. They may not call it hypnosis, but that's what they do. Just ask them. All of you take a nice deep breath now. Breathe in deeply. These folks are all in pretty deep hypnosis now, so we're going to do some fairly interesting phenomena. If you all take a nice deep breath, breathe in deeply. Only the person's shoulder I'm touching, take a nice deep breath, breathe in deeply. Excellent. Go deeper and deeper to sleep, sir. Deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. Every once in a while, you wear a cap a couple of times. You break that cap in, and it feels just right, exactly the way it is. Well, the cap that's on your head right now, sir, feels perfect. It feels perfect exactly the way it is. This is the way you like to wear your cap, and you know, if anybody tries to move it or adjust it or rearrange it, it's going to annoy you, and you're going to put it back the way you think it belongs, because this is the way you wear your cap. Only the folks whose shoulder I'm touching, take a deep breath. When you open your eyes, you're going to notice the man sitting next to you is wearing his cap in a really stupid way. This is going to annoy the heck out of you. You're going to do your best to try to get him to wear it properly, but the more you try to get him to wear it properly, the more adamant he gets about wearing it the way he likes to wear it. But you'll keep trying, because you're motivated salespeople and you're very focused. You'll keep trying to get him to wear it properly, but the more you try, the more adamant he gets. Beautiful. Only the person whose shoulder I'm touching right now, take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply, sir. Breathe in deeply. Breathe in deeply. Good night. Only the person whose shoulder I'm touching, take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply. Beautiful. Excellent. Deeper and deeper. Sometime after you awaken, sir, it might be 1 minute or 3 minutes or even 5 minutes, but sometime after you awaken, you're going to hear the ringing of a telephone. You will hear the ringing of a telephone. When you hear that telephone ring, you will notice the ringing is coming from your left shoe. The ringing is coming from your left shoe. You will remove your shoe, you will answer it. On the other side is going to be a client, a very important client, but you know something? You're having a bad day, you're in a bad mood, you don't want to be bothered, and in 30 seconds or less, you're going to blow that client off, because that's the kind of mood that you're in. Remember, when you hear the telephone ring, you will answer your shoe. Only the person's shoulder I'm touching right now, take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply, loose, limp, relaxed, and around, going deeper and deeper to sleep. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. In just a moment, ma'am, I'm going to remove your right shoe. I'm going to remove your right shoe. I want you to use your incredible imagination. Imagine as I remove this shoe, imagine the shoe is disappearing from your mind. 3, 2, 1. The shoe has been erased. Totally erased from your mind. Squeeze now. Tighter, 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 tighter. In a moment, when you open your eyes, you will discover that your right shoe is missing, but you will not be able to find it. No matter where you look, no matter how hard you look, you simply cannot see that shoe. You cannot find that shoe. It's impossible for you to find that shoe until I touch your forehead. Now, I want all of you at the count of 5 sitting up straight in the chair, still responding to the sound of my voice, feeling wonderful in every way at the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sitting up straight in the chair, you can give these folks a round of applause because they really are amazing visualizers. They're remarkable. You guys are great. You guys are absolutely fantastic in every way. How y'all doing over here? Everybody's okay? What's going on over here? You guys doing all right? What's the matter, ma'am?
Someone stole my shoe.
Someone stole your shoe? Well, you had it when you came up here, didn't you?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the Barbican Center is really strict about people being up here without their shoes on. Could you try to find it for me? Okay, if you look around here, it's important that you find it. I mean, what are you guys doing? What do you think? It's very silly, huh? What are you guys doing? Look, Patrick, I got... Straighten him out here. What's the matter, ma'am?
Someone's got my shoe.
Well, let's see if we can turn around here and find it. What's that? What's that?
It's in your hand. It's not.
What's say again?
It's in your hand.
What'd you say?
It's not in my hand.
Turn around here. Say again?
It's in your hand.
What'd you say?
It's not in my hand. My shoe's gone. It's there. What's that? It's my hand.
Turn around here, ma'am. I'm sorry. If you turn around here for just a second. Your first name is?
Lorna.
Lorna, I got to tell you, are you a salesperson, Lorna? Are you involved in sales?
Yeah.
You are a salesperson. What motivates salespeople? What motivates salespeople? Who thinks money motivates salespeople? Who thinks money motivates salespeople? You all do? Let's test that. See, I don't. I don't think money motivates salespeople nearly as much as you've been led to believe. It's Lorna. Lorna, tell you what, Lorna. I only have American dollars with me, but here's what I'm willing to... This is 100 American dollars. I will give you 100 American dollars if you tell me where your shoe is.
Well, I think it's that guy next to me that's got it.
Think the guy next to you's got it? I'll give you 200 American dollars if you simply tell me where your shoe is. I'll give you 200 American dollars.
Well, if I knew where the shoe was.
I'll give you $300. $300 in cash, American dollars.
Take the money.
$400. 500 American dollars. Let's look over here. 500 American dollars if you simply tell me where your shoe is. Fair enough? Why don't you,
Someone's stolen the shoe.
Someone's stolen the shoe? All right, why don't you go back and have a seat over here? We'll see if maybe we can do something else to find. Why don't you sit over here? How you doing, sir? You doing all right?
Pretty good.
Okay, there's a lesson here. Lorna did not tell me where her shoe was for a $500 reward. A lot of people think money motivates them. If money really motivated you, there would... Do you think you're hypnotized, dear? Please be honest.
No, I feel okay.
Good. Sleep way down deep. All the way down.
No, I'm not.
No, sleep way down deep. 5, deeper, deeper, deeper. Limp, loose. How about you? Do you think you're hypnotized? You can be honest. You're not hypnotized at all, right? Perfectly wide awake? I didn't think you were hypnotized either. There we go. And how about you, sir?
I'm fine.
Good. You're wide awake, right?
Absolutely.
Glad to hear it. Take a deep breath. Sleep way down deep, all the way down, deeper, 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 always deeper, loose and limp, relaxed and wound. Back to Lorna here. Lorna was unable to tell me where her shoe was for 500 American dollars because money does not really motivate you as much as you've been led to believe. I'll tell you what motivates you. Pictures that you have in your mind. If you see yourself as a top achiever, that's the motivator. If you can see yourself winning the award, that's the motivator. Not necessarily the money. If it was the money, there would be no call reluctance. There'd be no problems answering the phone and asking for referrals. It's amazing. No idea at all? You can open your eyes. No idea at all where your shoe is?
No idea.
Well, let's think about this. Any ideas at all where this shoe could be, Lorna? Think about it now. Any ideas at all? Do you know where the shoe is, Lorna? Be honest. Isn't that amazing? Sleep way down deep. It's called a negative hallucination. There's a lesson here as well. Looking right through something. Before you laugh, how many times do you run around your house looking for your car keys and they're in your hand? Or you run around looking for your eyeglasses and they're up on your head? Lorna can concentrate very, very well. She can concentrate so well that she can simply wipe it out of her mind. A lot of you folks do the same thing with the telephone. You don't like making prospecting calls, so you'll sit there and you'll see the newspaper, you will see the laptop computer, the empty coffee cup, and you look right past the prospecting machine, the telephone. You simply tune it out of your minds. You all doing okay over here? You doing all right, sir? Feel very good? You feel very good?
Yep.
Oh, good, because, you know, I think a telephone's ringing. I think a telephone's ringing, sir. Hear a telephone ringing? Better answer it. Hurry up. Hurry up. You got to answer it, sir. Hurry up.
Hello? You what? Don't give me that shit.
Oh,
Sleep. Wait, that is.
sit back in your chairs. Look at me. Look at me. Take a deep breath, sir. Look at me. Look at me. Take a deep breath. Sleep. Wait. Deep sleep. Sleep. Wait. Limp, loose. Well, that didn't go as planned. All right, here we go. Loose, limp, relax. Deep sleep. Loose and limp. Loose and limp. Loose and limp. Relaxed and unwound. Once y'all take a nice deep breath now, breathe in deeply, because in a moment when you open your eyes, you're going to see a little silver stress ball sitting up on the stage, a little silver stress ball. Listen carefully. The silver stress ball that you will see sitting up on the chair weighs 10,000 pounds. The stress ball that you see sitting on the chair weighs 10,000 pounds. You're not going to be able to lift it, move it, or budge it in any way because it weighs 10,000 pounds at the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sitting up straight in the chair, eyes wide open. You can give them another round of applause. I mean, aren't they amazing? You can wake up, Robin, wake up. How you doing, sir? I'll tell you, we're going to use you for a slightly different demonstration. What are you doing with your shoe in your hand? Any idea? Well, do me a favor. See this little silver stress ball sitting up here? Could you mind handing it to me? Little silver stress ball, yes. Would you mind handing it to me, please? That one right there. You can use both hands if you want. Try. Sorry. It's stuck there. Now try. Want to give it a shot, ma'am? See if you can do it? Use both hands if you don't mind. Put a little backbone into it. Want to give it a shot, sir? See if you can do it? Both hands. See, at this point, I think the question on the table should be, how many life underwriters does it take to live? You try as hard as you can, guys. Both hands. Try. Oh, ready? Put some backbone into it. How about you? You want to try it again, ma'am? There you go. And I'm going to spin you over here so the camera can see what it is you're doing. And now the three of you together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and go. Why don't you stop trying for just a second? I don't want you to hurt yourselves, but I do want you to notice something. Oh. Lorna, what do you think? Pretty strange, huh? Try it again. One more time. Just give it your all. Let me see you really put some backbone into it. Oh, dear. Okay. Do not hurt yourselves. All right. Thank you ever so much, and have a seat. Thank you ever so much. You guys are just fantastic. Perception versus reality. What's the reality? Thank you so much. You guys are just beautiful. The reality is that this little ball... Are you guys going at it again? Unreal. The reality is that this little ball weighs about 2 ounces. The perception is it weighed 10,000 pounds. Which part did you see win? The perception or the reality? Could you hold that for me for just a second? Okay, now. Maura, you're just a lovely lady. Sleep. Wait, Andy. Boy, deep sleep. Count of 5 when you open your eyes, more marbles in your mouth. Marbles in your mouth. Cannot say a single word until I touch your forehead. Marbles in your mouth. Count of 5. One of you revives, sit up straight in your eyes wide open. Now, do you think you're hypnotized? Are you hypnotized? Are you wide awake? Are you sure? Are you a salesperson involved in sales? Are you motivated by money at all? I'll give you 100 American dollars if you tell me what your name is. I'll give you 200 American dollars if you tell me what you... I'll make it 300 American dollars. I'll give you 400 American dollars. 500 American dollars. Now, look at me for just a moment, ma'am. Do you think you're hypnotized right now? You're not hypnotized. Not at all, right? Sleep. Wait, Andy. Oh, deep sleep. So y'all sit back in the chair, look at me, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Beautiful. Sleep. Wait, Andy. Let go all the way down. Deep sleep. All the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, loose, limp, relaxed, and unwound. That is amazing, isn't it? I mean, isn't that really remarkable? I gotta tell you. I've been doing this for 20 years, and it still amazes me when you see what a person is capable of doing when they focus their attention and use their imagination. These folks have been exceptional to volunteer. What I'm going to do is take just a moment or two and give them some positive suggestions to make this experience worth their while. If you'd all take just a nice deep breath, listen very, very carefully. In a moment, I'm going to slowly count back from 5 to 1. As I count back, I want you to listen carefully and understand this. When I reach the number 1, you and you alone will be in complete and total control of this state of mind. When I reach the number 1, you and you alone are in control of this state of mind from that moment forward. You're going to be able to give yourself suggestions that are every bit as powerful as any suggestions that I could possibly ever give to you. And you're also going to be able to take yourselves back into this state of mind in the comfort of your own home or wherever it is you would like to do it, and give yourself helpful, positive, and productive suggestions. I'm going to give you a cassette tape after you awaken. If you listen to side B of that tape, you'll discover that tape puts you right back into this nice deep relaxation at home where you can give yourselves suggestions. Take a nice deep breath now. Listen very, very carefully. Nice deep breath. Very, very carefully. Beautiful. Only the folks whose shoulder I'm touching, however, when you open your eyes, you'll be wide awake, refreshed, and relaxed, but you're going to notice the man sitting next to you has the worst body odor you have ever smelled in your life. I mean, really horrendous stuff, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse with each passing second. At the count of 5 when you awaken, but you're going to feel just great at the count of 5. 1, your arms and legs are waking up. 2, your mind and your body are waking up. You feel rested and refreshed and relaxed. 3, you feel focused, wide awake, alert, refreshed, and invigorated. 4, you are sitting up straight in the chair now, feeling fantastic, better than you felt in a long, 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 long time. And 5, all of this applause is for you guys. Give it up for these guys. These guys are just wonderful. Whoa, amazing. For you, this is the tape that I had promised you folks. Maura, you don't look like you're very comfortable. Did I tell you that this man here, Patrick, told me he wanted to be the number 1 financial advisor in the entire country? He's going to be number 1. He's going to be the guy that does it all. There you go. Thank you ever so much. Come on, Laura, I want to give this to you. For you, sir. Did I give you one? Laura, come on up here for just a moment, if you don't mind. Please? You don't want to be... Okay, here you go. Jeff? Robin? Sir? How you doing? Jeremy, thank you. I need to give this to you. Come on up here for just a second, Laura. It'll only take you a second. Come on. You sure? All right, well, here you go. I'll give it to you back here. Also, I have another little present for you all. This is a little stress ball of mine just to remind you of how heavy life can be when you focus on the negative and not the positive. Listen, guys, this does not weigh 10,000 pounds. I dropped this in a guy's lap once, almost killed him. This only weighs, there you are. For you. Doesn't weigh 10,000 pounds, Laura. It only weighs a few ounces. There you go, for you and you and you. And I've got 2 more for you folks back here. You folks are all just absolutely wonderful. You have been fantastic visualizers. I want to thank you all for being so kind and so alert, for you, sir, and for you. What's the matter here? Scoot up just a little bit. You're hurting these folks' feelings. Come on, come on. Should I take the smell away? You know, I should. Sleep. Wait, Eddie. Oh, wait, 5, 4, 3. Count of 5. When you open your eyes, bad smell is gone, replaced by the best smell you have ever smelled in your life. This smell drives you wild. The closer you get, the better it smells. You love, love, love. 1, 2, 3, 5. Sit up straight in the chair, eyes wide open. Ooh, sleep. Wait, Eddie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count of 5. When you open your eyes, best smell you ever smelled. Absolutely, best smell you've ever smelled. The closer you get to this guy, the better it smells. At the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Sit up straight in the chair. All right, here we go. What a difference a change in attitude can make. Isn't that amazing? Wow. While these folks are having their magic moment, I just want to take a few moments and say thank you to a couple of people. These guys are amazing, aren't they? Aren't they? I would like to say thank you to Mike Clark and to Mike Gordon. I would like to say, to Michael Boosfield and Tony Gordon, I would like to say thank you to Brendan Power. I certainly want to thank these folks who were kind enough to volunteer. This was my first trip to London, and this is just a fantastic city. It's been a magical experience. I want to thank you folks. You've been just wonderful. I'll be back at the bookstore to answer any questions and sign any books you like. If you want to come and see me and ask any questions. Other than that, you folks were absolutely wonderful, and I do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Give it up for them one more time if you don't mind. Thank you so much. You guys, thank you ever so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Maura. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys can have a seat. You can go back and sit down now. Thanks ever so much. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming up. You guys can have a seat now. Thank you ever so much. If you come down off of this side, and be very, very careful when you do, please. Excellent. Outstanding. You guys are just wonderful. I appreciate it. You have a seat there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good luck to you all. You guys were great. See you later. Thanks again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good luck.
No, come back. That was unbelievable. That really was. Absolutely incredible. Fabulous, Tony. Thank you. Absolutely fantastic. I tell you, there's been no work done back there. Nothing. We've just been riveted. That was... How'd you follow that? Have you ever seen anything like that? Unbelievable, wasn't it? It was absolutely incredible. I'm not going to even attempt to follow it, just to say have a nice lunch. You probably need it after that. Just very quickly, a good lunch, please, have a lovely time. You find if you're not sure where to go, in your pack, there are suggestions of places to go to find some restaurants, and obviously there are places to eat at the Barbican. Could you please be back here at 1:55? I know it's a short lunch break, but we've got a lot to do this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed. Have a nice, relaxing lunch.